All right, welcome to my presentation on The Tale of Two Cities, and let's get going. Oh, if it works, there we go. So, Charles Dickens was an English writer and a social critic. He created some of the best known fictional characters and is regarded as one of the greatest novelists of the Victorian era. His works were very popular during his lifetime, and by the 20th century, many critics and scholars had recognized him as a literary genius. Excuse the blender sound in the background. So some of the main characters were Sidney Carton, Charles Darnay, and Lucy Manette. Sidney Carton was a somewhat rude and indifferent alcoholic. He was also an attorney, but he didn't really seem to be going anywhere in life. And didn't really have any interest in anything or any interest in doing something with his life. And he did tend to think of himself as unworthy, lowly, to be self-degrading and stuff like that. Charles Darnay, he was born a French aristocrat, but he left his home and his uncle because he didn't want to be associated with his uncle and family's cruel name and influence, because his uncle and family had a reputation for being very cruel and inconsiderate of others, especially the poor populace. Lucy Manette was a young French woman who grew up in England. Her parents, excuse me, I'm supposed to say her parents were assumed to be dead. And a lot of this story revolves around these three characters. So I think one of the main themes, but also a device that Charles Dickens used, was resurrection and transformation. So even from the very beginning, we see he starts putting the theme of resurrection in there, and it's a device that plays a part throughout a large part of this book. We see that there's a lot that symbolizes death or blood, such as Madame Defarge's knitting, or the barrel of blood, or not blood, the barrel of wine that breaks and spills across the cobblestones. But there's also a lot about resurrection and change. We see, especially in these three characters, we see a lot of change as they go throughout this story, and a large part of that is due to love. But love enabled them to change and undergo this transformation, this resurrection to a new person, a person who sacrificed themselves and who loved others so much that they put their needs first, and that they wanted to ensure their happiness. And so that just goes to show that people can be heroes regardless of their past or where they come from. So I think that's one of the main devices that Charles Dickens uses. And yeah, that's my presentation. So there's my source, just the book. But thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.